And that may mean that your standards are very low. Your standards might be in HELL, double hockey sticks, whatever. The bar is on the floor, sis. Howdy, hey baes. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. We're talking about boundaries today because it was highly requested and you guys loved my moving in silence video. And I want to get into kind of like a part 2 on how to have boundaries, how to set them, how to define them, how to actually learn how to say no, learn how to say yes, learn how to honor yourself when you are dealing with people, relationships, work relationships, just everything. So if you want to learn about how to have boundaries, healthy ones, then keep on watching. Okay, so what are boundaries? Boundaries are, in my humble abode, contracts that you have within yourself of how you will interact with the world around you and how that world will interact with you. You can't control everything in this life. You can only control what you can control. But how people treat you and interact with you and associate with you, that is within your control. Thankfully, you know, if you are in a free country, then you have a lot of control over how people treat you, and you can choose what you accept or don't accept as far as treatment from other people. So that's what boundaries is to me in my humble abode. I think I'll find a dictionary definition for you nerdies out there that I want to know, so I'll just put that here. But yes, that's what boundaries are. Having them could be very hard for folks. I'm really learning that a lot of people just don't have boundaries, or they're afraid to assert them. And they think if you have boundaries, it means that you're like a mean person, or you're like not nice, or you don't want to ruffle feathers. When in reality, if it comes to you and you're about you and you don't play about you, there's no feathers that need to be ruffled if it's at stake for you. If you're at cost, like what feathers are ruffling? We're not birds. Like, it's normal and healthy to have boundaries, and you don't want to oblige to certain things out of the fear of confrontation or the fear of being liked. I actually truly believe that folks that don't know how to say no, or folks that don't have boundaries, it's because they have a fear of not being liked, or they're people pleasers. And that may need some professional help, like therapy or something, to unpack that and where that comes from. But if you are someone that's very self-aware and you know the root causes of these, then you can definitely get into having boundaries, and you can definitely get into having a better life because you honor yourself first, and then others will honor you. So, how to set boundaries. Number one, you need to know what is a non-negotiable for you and for how you treat others. You know that golden rule, like treat others as you want to be treated? How do you want to be treated? Like, do you want to be treated well? Do you want to be treated like crap? Do you want to be treated in the middle? How you treat yourself is going to be the guiding factor of how you are going to be treated, okay? So like, if you already give yourself nice treatment, if you already affirm yourself, if you do your prayers in the morning or at night, if you're someone that you're actually like speaking life into yourself and you have a high standard for yourself, then you're not gonna have anybody else that's gonna come in your space, into your world, and treat you anything less. And if you do allow people to treat you anything less than what you want or what someone else has that you may be jealous of, might have to get into that. There's people out here that are jealous and envious, but in reality they just wish they could have the strength to have boundaries. Then that could be a problem. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be able to be self-aware enough to treat yourself well so other people can treat you well. So that's number one. Number 1.A or 1.2 or whatever is that once you figure out how you like to treat yourself, and you rise up to that self-esteem of like actualizing, like, oh, I don't know, let's say you're a girl and you want a guy to open a door for you. That probably means that you're not going to deal with men that don't open your door. You know what I mean? Or, oh, I want to go to a restaurant that has, you know, sustainable food or local food. you're probably not going to go to McDonald's anymore for dinner. You know what I mean? So you just have to rise to the occasion for yourself. And that's like the building blocks of how to have boundaries, okay? So defining them and setting them are very similar, but they're very different. So I talked about defining a little bit and setting, but the differentiation is that when you define what your boundaries are, it's more of you having introspection within yourself and figuring out, what do I like? How do I treat myself? If I treat myself like crap, how do I change that? What do I need to do inner work wise to kind of like bring myself to feel like I'm worthy of having the type of treatment I want to have? So that's like gonna help you define what your boundaries are, right? How close can someone get to a point where it's okay to you, but if they cross it, it's not okay? You need to figure out what that sweet spot is, because like I said earlier, you can't control everything, but you can control what you accept. You know what I mean? So that's defining what your boundaries are. And it's different for each person. You know what I mean? Now, setting them is actually enforcing them and actually letting it be known to the people around you, family, a lover, friends, work wives, work husbands, work friends, whatever. You have to enforce them whenever a boundary is crossed or whenever you're getting to know people. You know what I mean? I'm someone that like, I don't like going to events and people are late. You know what I mean? So a boundary of mine would be, I am letting the people know that I need you to be at a certain place, like at a certain time. Now, depending on the event, it may not be that big of a deal when it comes to when they show up, but I know that the likelihood of me being reliable on a person to come on time will decrease if they're constantly being late to my events. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean there's anything personal between me and the person. It just means that if I need something from them and I need them to do it on a timely, punctual manner, I'm not going to rely on them for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to trust that that is their strength, and I might have to delegate them for another task if I need them for something else when it comes to an event or a dinner or something like that. But I'm not gonna hold that within me and the person doesn't know that I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like if I know like, okay, I like going to wine tastings. So I know like sometimes when you go to a wine tasting, if you are not there on time, like, and you're doing like the tours and you have a tour guide, the bus will leave you. Like it's a dub. So I know that if I'm inviting people that I know that, hey, if you're late, you're left. That's the, you know what I mean? That's just is what it is. And if they come late, then they learn that you crossed the boundary and this is the consequence. It's nothing personal, but next time I bet you're not going to be late. You know what I mean? So that's an example of a boundary. Now, those were kind of like unique examples, but the principle behind what I'm saying is that you have to be someone that when someone crosses a boundary or there's something in your stomach that's just kind of perking up, like it's a little knotted up, you got to be able to nip it in the bud the first time, not the 20th time when the person has already been like used to doing and relating with you in a certain way. You need to nip in the bud the first time. If someone is coming to me, like I took my weave out, so I have my natural hair out, right? If someone in public is coming up to me saying, I like your hair, and then boom, just goes to touch my hair, and I don't like my hair being touched, but I let them touch my hair, I have established an agreement and a relationship that this person can touch me without my consent. But they don't know they crossed the boundary because I didn't say anything. You know what I mean? You have to be bold enough to be like, oh, no, don't touch my hair. Thank you. Appreciate the compliment, you know, but no, don't touch my hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that deep. At the end of the day, like, if you had a child and some stranger came and was touching on your child, you would be like, don't touch my kid. So you need to treat yourself like you're your own child. You know what I mean? You got to be able to be bold enough to be like, you know what? Why do I feel guilty or shame around sticking up for myself? Why do I feel embarrassed around having a boundary. What's the problem with having a boundary? Like, how did I get brainwashed to the point that having a boundary or sticking up for myself was bad? And that may mean that your standards are very low. Your standards might be in HELL, double hockey sticks, whatever. The bar is on the floor, sis. Life will be so much better if you set boundaries with people and people will respect you. When people can run all over you and they can run you, they will take advantage and take until you say stop. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're in elementary school and you have that bully, and like if you are continuously bullied and like you don't stick up for yourself or no one else sticks up for you, then you're always going to be bullied. But if one time you let that bully know, you know, you let them face the music, I bet you that bully will never ever deal with you ever again. So you kind of have to have that same type of energy. You gotta have that same type of aura. Not to say that you're over here putting hands on people or doing that, because we're adults, we're classy, we don't do that. I'm saying that when you love yourself and you love a certain way of being, because you treat yourself that way, that's the ticket. When you treat yourself a certain way, there's no way you're gonna let anybody else treat you a type of way, because you treat yourself better than that. Like, can you imagine, I'm not gonna let someone raise their voice at me when my own mother doesn't even raise her voice at me. As a full-grown woman, she doesn't raise her voice at me. So I'm not gonna let anybody else raise their voice at me. You know what I mean? So that could look like, if someone's raising your voice, you'd be like, don't ever raise your voice at me ever again. I'm speaking to you like an adult, and we're 1 foot away. Let's keep it cute, keep it real adorable. But that's my side. Everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own approach. I'm not saying that you have to be like me. I'm just saying that you have to find out what are you not going for and what are you going for. There's always a wiggle room. Everyone has boundaries, whether you're an extroverted person, an introverted person, everyone has the line that's gonna cross for them. You know what I mean? And in this life, people are constantly testing your boundaries. They're constantly testing how close can they go before you say no. And if you're someone that you can't say no, you're gonna build a lot of resentment towards life and people, because you're doing things to people please because you don't wanna like rock the boat. But the person that suffers the most in the end is you. And that's how you build resentment, and that's how you get to a point where you're wondering, why am I not hitting my goals? Why am I not living like he is, like she is? Why is this person doing this? Why is this? It's because you're not standing up for yourself. It's because you're not taking what you want in this life. And truth be told, I feel like this is a very like tough love type video, because I just feel so passionate about this topic, because when you're enlightened and you realize, oh my gosh, like a lot of things in life you can have if you just decide that, you know what, even though I used to be this way and I'm this way now, it doesn't mean my future has to be the same. When you have that mentality, you're not gonna go for nothing that you used to go for. You're not going outside no more. You're just not. And I just want people, women specifically, to really feel that sense of agency and to really feel that sense of boldness. Like, be kind, be polite, but don't be a doormat, you know? Don't be a doormat. Boundaries just means, look, this is what I'm accustomed to, this is what I'm going for, this is what I'm not. And it doesn't mean you have to be rude about it. It doesn't mean you have to be mean about it. It just means that you have the choice to opt in or the choice to opt out. And I think people think they don't have choice, so they feel trapped. And I get it. We're sold everything in this life. Advertisers are advertisers for a reason. Okay? Like, they influence you. Even me, I'm influencing you to take my advice. But I actually care about empowering women and empowering people to actually love themselves and to actually be great citizens of this life and society. So if you are someone that you struggle with boundaries, please know that figure out what you want for yourself. How do you treat yourself and how could you better yourself in that area? Number one, get to the root cause of why you don't have boundaries. That's number two. And number three is that get over the fear of other people's opinions of you and what they think of you, because I promise you, people don't care that much. People care about themselves. So if you not having boundary means another person can get something out of you that benefits their agenda, they're going to do that. It's not fair, but it's life. And it's up to you to be able to have that sense of agency and to say no and not feel like you're committing a deadly sin. Like, what are the 7 deadly sins? No, you're fine. It's okay for me to say no if someone touches my hair and I don't like it. It's okay for me to say, no, I don't want pickles on that sandwich. It's okay for me to send food back if they got my order wrong. Like, it's a restaurant, that's their job. Boundaries need to be healthy. Boundaries need to be established. I'm just tired of seeing like people get taken advantage of, and it's like not that they were taken advantage of in a way that's sneaky, but taken advantage of because someone saw a weakness and they exploited that, and the person isn't strong enough to stand up. You know that TikTok, stand up. You have to stand up. You have to stand up, darling. I know this is kind of like a touchy subject, but it's a little tough lovey, but I needed to do it because it's getting weird out here. Like, I'm seeing too many horror stories of people getting like, you know, getting played, and I don't like that, and I just want y'all to like not go out sad. And it's okay if you have gone out sad in the past. We move, okay? Like, at the end of the day, forgive yourself if you've ever not had boundaries in the past, and forgive yourself for, you know, not knowing any better. But now you know better because you watched this video. So I hope this video really helped you. I don't really like making videos too long, but if you want a part 2, please let me know if you want a part 2. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. Please like and comment and let me know, like, do you have boundaries? Do you agree with some of my tips? Let me know what you think. My name is Evie. Thank you so much for watching. Always remember that you glow for a living because we're living from within, beyond skin deep. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.